Once you know how to do things in Seafarer the ship sim, everything's easy. But sometimes the learning can be a bit of a pain in the butt. So here, I have collated everything that I've learned and everything that I know, and pretty soon you're going to know how to do pretty much everything in Seafarer the ship sim too. Let's start with some basic ship controls. First off, each ship has a slightly unique handling style. Some areas of handling are also a bit broken at the moment, as are some of the animations, in my humble opinion. And as such, there are a few things that I'm going to need to explain, which will probably later be patched out, because they're not, I think, supposed to be like that. Let's start with the smallest boat. It's the Rib. It's fast and it's nimble, but if you crash into anything at speed, there won't be much of your hull left. And that pretty much goes for all the boats. But thankfully, none of them sink. Hopefully one day they will. On the controller, the X button toggles between max speed and zero throttle. More control on the throttle is available using the left thumbstick, and you also use the left thumbstick to steer. So yes, it's very easy to accidentally give it forward or reverse thrust when you're steering. In fact, there are numerous things that use the left thumbstick, so accidentally giving it thrust is very easy. And smashing into the wall is a lot easier than you might think as well. The rudder/engine on this particular boat auto centers, making this one of the easiest boats to handle. It'll even steer when the engine is in neutral, unlike some of the other boats. Speaking of which, up next is the fireboat, aka the Archer. Again, this is a very fast and very nimble boat, but with some noticeable differences. X on the controller, in fact this is true for all boats, will give you maximum minimum throttle, it's a toggle. But if you're in the Archer and you go to zero throttle, you cannot steer the boat. It doesn't work anymore, and I think this is a bug, so it's probably going to get patched out. But the key thing, the most important thing, which I think will continue to be the case, is that the rudder/steering mechanism does not auto-center. So you must center the rudder yourself, or you're just going to end up doing donuts, or you can press Y, which automatically centralizes all throttles. This is a very useful tool, and again, it works on all the boats, so bear that in mind. Now, the Herbert is a cargo ferry. It's brilliant, actually. It has 3 rotating azimuth motors, 2 at the stern and 1 at the bow. Basically what these things do is rotate. So if you want to turn hard left, the bow and the stern motors will turn in opposite directions. This means that you can rotate 360 degrees in your own space. Very useful tool. These things are just brilliant. But they're easy to lose track of. So in order to keep track of where your azimuths are please listen very carefully, going to be pointing, you need to look at the coloured rim around the motor. This is the bit where you're rotating, and the azimuth will rotate to try and match where you've left that colour rim round the outside. It's not where the motor itself is. It's very easy when you're starting out to accidentally overload the input and end up sort of chasing yourself, basically, and then it's easy to get lost. So pressing square, pressing Y will turn off the throttle or give you maximum throttle, be careful of that, but the Y will centralize all rudders and azimuths, so you can sort of get to grips with what the hell's going on and start again. So bearing in mind, it's very cool, by the way. Once you get used to it, it's extremely cool. But there's another thing you need to work out. There is no reverse on this boat. Instead, what you need to do is rotate your azimuths 180 degrees, and they will then push the boat backwards. You can also do variations of that, because obviously the front end has 1 azimuth, the rear end has 2. So you can actually control them independently of each other. You do this by holding the right top or left top button respectively, and that enables you to disengage the other set. So this is very useful, for example, when you're leaving a dock and you just want to move to the left, just slide to the left. If you point all 3 azimuths in the same direction, it will allow you to edge out sideways. But please remember, you do have 2 at the back and 1 at the front. So the 1 at the front, the bow azimuth, will need more throttle than the rear 2, otherwise you're going to be doing donuts on yourself. The Bernard is possibly the trickiest of all the boats. It has 2 azimuths at the rear, again, no reverse. It's a similar principle as is the Herbert, except for the fact that you've only got 2 azimuths and you're steering from the rear of the ship. So you can turn very tightly still, but not necessarily quite as tight and controlled as the Herbert can. This is one of those boats that just takes practice. You'll get used to it. It's very easy, and the more you practice, the easier it becomes. Let's put it that way. The density in the Lancer, I'm afraid to say, I have not yet managed to obtain these 2, and as soon as I can get hold of them, I will update with a fresh tutorial. But having said that, there's a lot of content I think that's going to be coming in the next couple of weeks and months, so it's probably going to be worthwhile waiting for a little while, and then I'll put something together for all the new stuff. So each of the ships also have their specialist ship controls. The rigid at the moment is only used to board big vessels for inspection. So what you would technically do, or tend to do, is use your binoculars in order to identify a ship. There's a whole area around that I want to expand on in the game, but I'm going to put that in a different video. Then you need to get within 0.1 nautical miles from the vessel in question in order to call them on the radio. The radio can be upgraded, and then you can call them from further away. Once the captain has welcomed you aboard or invited you aboard, line up alongside in the blue marked area. Don't get too close to the boat, but when you're in position, press and hold A in order to dock your boat against them. Unfortunately, we can't climb up on the boats. That would be incredible, but it's not in the game. So instead, you need to open the dial menu and opt to switch boats. You will then be teleported, annoyingly, onto the vessel. At which point you need to locate and inspect all of the necessary markers and then speak to the captain and return to your rib. They'll either pass or won't pass. It doesn't really matter. You don't need to do anything particularly. You just need to go and inspect these things. And then you just use the dial menu in order to get back onto your boat once again. You can also use the dial menu to turn on your blues and twos for a little bit of extra effect if you wish. The Archer has the same deal with the flashing lights, and on the front of the Archer, because it's a fire-fighting boat, are 3 water cannons. All 3 water cannons work in the same way. You press A to take hold, you press A again to start and stop the water, and then you use the left thumbstick to direct the water flow and the right thumbstick to adjust your direction in which you're looking. You can then also use the left button and the right button to increase or decrease the strength of the water, and hold B to release and let go. Now, fires spread really quickly, so try as best as you can to use all 3 water cannons to get them out as quick as possible. You often also seem to have a time limit, and sometimes when you think everything's going well, something unexpected will happen. There'll be an explosion, and then you're back at the races. I do find that aiming over the top and letting the water drop down from above seems to be the most effective, but it is quite difficult to judge where the fire is. When you're on point, when you're hitting the fire itself, there will be a sort of indicator around the fire icon that flashes and changes colour. When it goes to white, it's basically almost out, but not quite out. So you just need to keep going till it disappears completely. But once it disappears, it doesn't take long for it to spark up again, so do keep an eye on it. Now, the Herbert transports cargo, so obviously you need to load and unload cargo, and you do this using the crane when you're docked at a port. You use the same method for both, loading and unloading. You just reverse the sequence. So to load, you'll open the dial menu, switch to the crane. You can use RB and LB to raise and lower the crane arm. There's a small monitor in front of you which you can use, but it's a bit blurry, so I find that looking down works best for me. Basically, position the crane over the top of the waiting truck and align it with the crate that's on the back. When you're in position, press A to clamp on, there's lights on top of it which will indicate when it's got the safe lock. Make sure to lift it up high enough to clear the crane legs. I've made that mistake a few times. And then swing it out over the boat and pick a spot to place it. Now, if you swing forwards, obviously you're going to get a bit of momentum. So if you swing back in a little bit, you can kind of nullify that swing effect. Hopefully that makes sense. The more you try, the easier that will be. So once you've got the crate into the right position, you'll see there's little markers on the floor. You can put them there, and they should go green if you're on the easy setting, or basically you just need to work out where the other crates are and put it in a logical place. Again, once it's in the right place, press the A button and that will release it. Just to make clear, you've got two types of crates at the moment. You've got gas crates, which can only be stacked on top of other gas crates, and the same applies for the solid crates. Both can be stacked 3 high, I think it is. I forget the name of the solid crates, the 100s or something like that, 20-foot long things. Anyway, once all the containers are loaded and there's no more trucks coming in with stuff to load up, switch back to the boat using your radial menu. Now go and secure all of the twist locks. There's one in each corner of the crate, so that's 8 per crate. Well, no, technically it's 4 per crate, but if you've got 2, if they're stacked too high, there'll be 8 corners. And also there are cross straps if they're more than 1 high. So if there's a stack of 2, there'll be 1 cross strap. If they're 3 high, there'll be 2 cross straps, plus an extra set of twist locks. You will not be able to leave the dock until they are all fastened, which is a bit of a shame. I would like to be able to make that mistake, go out to sea, get in some rough weather and lose a couple of things, and then get fined and lose a bit of respect from the companies that we work with. That would be so much better. But I'm not leading this product, so I can't implement that, sadly. Tugboats are very cool, I think. Bernard is a tugboat, and I like Bernard very much. In order to tow a boat, you need to position yourself in front of the vessel, get close enough, or get the back of your ship close enough to the bow of theirs, and then quickly get up, go down to the back of the boat, look at their vessel. There'll be a guy standing there, and request him to chuck you a guide rope. Pick it up, attach it to your winch rope, then go back into the wheelhouse, and allow the vessel to retrieve the tow rope using the crane control. You just click it once and it'll allow them to pull it in. Try and keep the line taut at all time and your movement smooth, and obviously think about if you're going to make a tight turn, the boat behind you may swing out a little bit, so just be wary of that. Equally, the towed vessel will always naturally follow you, but it will be slightly more to one side or the other because of the nature of the way that the tow rope is attached. So all you have to do is tow them safely to their docking spot, hit the crane button again to release and retrieve the tow line, and then move out of their way and they will position themselves accordingly. But your job's not quite over. You need to rotate 270 degrees and gently position yourself in the middle of their boat and push their vessel back up to the correct docking position. Now, there's an easy way of doing this where you get into the right position and you hold A. This will keep their vessel straight for you, but if you're hardcore and you do it all manually, you're going to need to keep an eye on their boat, because if you're pushing slightly more to the left than the right, the boat is going to twist on you, and it happens really fast. As I say to all my sailing chums, it's amazing how quickly something that moves so slowly can get into trouble. But anyway, yeah, just have some fun with that. And at the moment, I don't think it works particularly well, and there's a god-awful noise when it finally slots into position and it sort of moves away from you. Annoyingly, a menu then pops up, and when a menu pops up, you've got no control over anything. So you need to close that menu quickly, otherwise you're going to bash into the side of their boat or God knows what. Just keep all of that in mind, but I'm sure you're going to do absolutely fine. Ship management is pretty straightforward when you're in a port or a harbour. You can access your fleet information via your tablets. Open the tablet by pressing down on your D-pad, navigate using your RT and LT buttons, and go to fleet. If you go to fleet, that's where you can purchase new boats, swap between boats that you own, and repair upgrade them and level them up. Leveling up will improve boat performance slightly. You can see this over on the right hand side. Pay particular attention to the fuel and the hull condition. These two things can go down very quickly. Fuel at the moment is a total nightmare, and I hope they're going to fix that, because I do not like the way that it's been implemented. It's absolutely rubbish. Resources are used to repair your engine whilst you're at sea. Only certain boats have these, don't worry about it. As I mentioned, in the top right hand corner you've got all the stats for your ship specification. You can check there to see how your upgrades have improved the boat. But also above that you can see who's assigned to your boat, which crew you have. There'll be more on that in a moment. And also on the left hand side you do have the ability to upgrade certain elements or certain items on your boat, like radio, for example. If you upgrade it to level 2, then you'll have a longer range on your radio. It's a bit daft, it's a bit arcadey, to be quite honest, but you know, that's the way it is. And again, not all boats have everything in that department, and as you rank up, as you level up, more things will be unlocked and made available to you. The next tab over from Fleet is Crew. If you open this, you can hire an officer or an engineer here. They do have ratings, and I believe the higher the rating, the better they are at their job. Quelle surprise. Basically what I'm saying, what I mean when I say that, is that officers will use more fuel if their rank is lower, and less fuel the higher their rank is. Again, I hate that feature, it's so stupid and unnecessary. Engineers, I think, will use less resources, so try and hire as good as you can. But once you've hired a crew member, you can then assign them to a boat, but you can only assign them to the boat that you're actively using. So if you want to assign them to a different boat, you need to go back to Fleet and switch to that boat, and then you can assign them to that boat. In the tablet you also have a bank where you can take loans out based on your skill level, and if you open the journal you will see specific job opportunities for various factions. Each harbour has a different set of jobs available. Sometimes jobs here will require you to use your own vessel, but not always. Sometimes you will use the AI or NPC's vessel. And campaign missions also appear here, although I've only seen one thus far. There's also a section for messages, but having never had one, I can't really tell you much about that. That's something that's going to happen after release. So the last thing, and possibly one of the most important things, is the map and long distance journeys. Long distance journeys right now are a fuel-led nightmare. Even the closest ports are likely to be just outside of your range or just inside your range, so you may need to stop off for fuel en route. At the moment it seems, as I mentioned, level 1 crew officers will use maybe twice, 3 times, 4 times the fuel that you would if you were steering, and I think that fast travel may be equally as thirsty. Not quite as bad as a level 1 crew officer, but certainly I've run out of fuel at times where I didn't think I was going to. I've calculated a route and then have a lot less fuel than I was expecting at the end. So in order to plot your route, regardless of who will be doing the steering, you must open the map. So right click on your D-pad or click on a map screen within the wheelhouse to open up the map, then press down on the D-pad to engage the routing or the route plotting capability. Now you can use RT and LT to zoom in and out, and both thumbsticks will allow you to navigate through the map. A will place a waypoint, Y will remove the last waypoint, and X will remove all of them. Sadly, you cannot pick up and move a previous waypoint. So if your first waypoint is in the wrong place, or your second one is, and you've got 4 or 5, you're going to have to remove 5, 4, 3 and then adjust it that way. Bit of a shame. Hopefully that will change in the future. As your route expands, in the top right hand corner you will see the calculations indicating the impact that this journey will have on your ship. Most importantly, how much fuel you're going to use. I'm not a fan of the fuel usage implementation at the moment. You may have got that impression, and I hope they change it fast. Press down on your D-pad in order to engage fast travel, and press it again if you want to stop. If you do stop in the middle of fast travel, it appears to remove all of your remaining journey routes, so you'll have to do it again. And once you've reached a high enough level, that fast travel capability will be unlocked for you. It's not available at the very beginning. If you want to see wildlife, I recommend you head down to the south and southeast waters, and to get your officer to steer, you must first hire and assign them to your ship. Then you open the radial menu once you have created a route, and you click on the crew, and then you select the icon, which most looks like a wheel, and they should take over. Should you run out of fuel, and you probably will run out of fuel, you'll have to call an SOS over the radio. The first one is free. What I tend to do is get my fast travel or crew member to stop just in front of the port, and then I give it full beans towards the port, and if I run out of fuel, there's every chance or hope that we'll still just glide in enough, because once you're inside the harbour wall, you can get more fuel. It's all a bit arcadey. Hopefully they're going to improve that as well. So Seafarer, the ship sim, is an early access title, so I expect much of what I've told you here will change, but this will definitely get you up and running on release day, and I hope you have a great time. Please let me know how much you're enjoying the game, and please let me know if there's any questions you've got. I'll do my best to answer them, and if there's anything you would specifically like to know, ask me, and I will see if I can put another video together. In fact, so much is likely to change over the next 12 months that I'll probably need to do another one anyway. But this should get you up and running. Thanks for watching. Till next time, take care. Goodbye for now.
In the heart of the ocean, where the dreams collide, Sim UK reviews take us on a ride. With ultimate realism, we sail the seas. No games are played, just nature's breeze. Educating sailors through every wave. Windshield lifting is the life we crave. Feel the pull of the tide, so true and real. In this nautical dance, let the waters heal. Sailing for real in the arms of the deep. Simulated journeys where the secrets keep. Loyal to the queen under skies so blue. Brewing cups of tea in this life we pursue. Full English breakfast fueling the quest as we navigate waters, feeling truly blessed. With each crash of the wave, we embrace the thrill. Simulating reality, it gives us a chill. True wind in our sails, we ride the swell. Like the stories of sailors we know so well. Educate and simulate, living fearlessly. The spirit of England flows within you and me. Raise the anchor high, let our journey begin. In this soulful escape, the adventure we win. Sailing for real in the arms of the deep. Simulated journeys where the secrets keep. Loyal to the queen under skies so blue. Brewing cups of tea in this life we pursue. Full English breakfast fueling the quest as we navigate waters, feeling truly blessed. Oh, the waves sing our song, harmonies divine. In the rhythm of life, everything aligns. With British spirit soaring, we'll never stray. A nautical simulation, guiding the way. Feel the heat of the sun, let the stars be our guide. In the embrace of the ocean, with nothing to hide. Sim UK reviews, painting skies so bold. Every tide unraveled, every story told. From the cliffs of Dover to the shores of Bright, our passion ignites like the morning light. With tea in our hands and the wind at our backs, we sail through existence with no need for hacks. Ultimate realism, it's the path